Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep into Book Lovers by Emily Henry today.
Oh, I love this book. So smart and funny.
Right? We've got excerpts ready to share, and we'll get swept up in the story. But I also really want to dig into what Henry's saying about love and ambition and finding your place in the world. You know,
Yeah, she's great at taking those familiar romance tropes and flipping them on their heads.
totally. Like
Well,
with Nora Stevens,
no, Nora.
our main character. She's a literary agent in New York City, and at first glance, you might think, "Oh, classic woman who gets dumped story."
Especially when she says that thing early on about, I'm the city person, not the one who meets the hot farmer. The other one, the one who gets dumped.
Yeah, like she's already bracing herself for it.
Exactly.
And then, boom, her breakup with Grant
Ugh, grass.
really emphasizes that whole idea.
It's almost ironic, right? Like he's this billionaire's son who leaves her for someone he met on a work trip, saying he wants a simpler life.
You'd think he'd be the one craving the city.
Yeah, totally.
But what I find fascinating is Nora's reaction.
Oh, yeah. How does she handle it?
She's not moping around. She's been researching mattresses for 9 months and comparing dating to car shopping.
Really? 9 months? That's intense.
Totally. What do you make of that?
I think it says a lot about her, this need for control, for practicality, maybe even like a feel just letting go and embracing the messiness of love.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Especially considering the books she works with.
You're right. All those whirlwind romances.
Totally. It's like she wants a spreadsheet for matters of the heart.
I love that. A spreadsheet for love.
Uh-huh, exactly. And then we meet Libby, her sister.
Oh, Libby's great.
She's pregnant and wants the full small-town romance novel experience.
She wants that transformation, the kind you read about.
Yeah, totally. And she has a whole list, like wearing flannel shirts, skinny dipping, finding a rugged lumberjack.
It's hilarious, but also kind of sets her up for disappointment, right?
For sure. Real life is rarely like a romance novel.
Exactly. It makes you wonder about those tropes and if they set us up for unrealistic expectations.
So they go to Sunshine Falls, North Carolina, right out of their favorite romance novel.
Sunshine Falls, what a name.
I know. But their arrival is interesting. They get a taxi driver who looks like Santa Claus and drives like a maniac.
Oh, no. I bet Libby loved that, though, right? Part of the experience.
Oh, absolutely. But Sunshine Falls itself is kind of a letdown.
Really? Not the charming haven.
Not quite. It's quaint, but a little dusty. And there's this restaurant called Papa Squat.
Papa Squat. That's a choice.
Right. And then they run into Charlie Lastra.
Charlie the editor.
Yes. He's a renowned book editor, Nora's rival.
Oh, this is going to be good.
And get this. He's from Sunshine Falls.
What? Really? That changes things.
Right. It completely upends Nora's expectations.
Yeah.
And there's this running joke about him having a bad day that makes you wonder about his past.
Oh, there's always more than meets the eye with these characters.
Totally. And their dynamic is so interesting. Witty banter, that shared passion for books. Even when they're arguing about city versus small-town life, there's this spark.
It's that classic opposites attract, but with this intellectual connection that makes it work.
Definitely. They're both so sharp and love to spar verbally.
It's so fun to read.
Oh, absolutely. And that scene where he playfully signs an NDA to hear Nora's dark, dirty, twisted secret.
Oh, I loved that part.
It's lighthearted, but you can see the trust building between them.
And how comfortable they're getting with each other.
Exactly. And speaking of secrets, back in the publishing world, Nora's dealing with her star author, Dusty Fielding.
Dusty, what's he up to?
He's got a major case of writer's block.
Yeah.
And his new manuscript, Frigid, features a ruthless literary agent who sounds a lot like Nora.
Oh, no. That's got to sting a little.
Right. She's trying to manage his insecurities while feeling kind of attacked herself.
Oof, that's tough.
And then on top of everything else, she starts developing feelings for Charlie.
Oh, this is getting complicated.
But there's a complication. His ex-girlfriend, Amaya.
Ex-girlfriend, huh.
So we could have a little love triangle.
I know. There's all this tension and chemistry between them, but there's also this uncertainty. Can they really make it work with their different lives?
It's a good question. Different worlds, different experiences.
Especially after Nora witnesses this awkward encounter between Charlie and Amaya.
Ooh, that's got to be tough.
It throws a wrench in things and makes Nora question everything.
Yeah, it's easy to overthink things in situations like that.
Totally. And Nora's got all this baggage from her past.
Oh, right, with her mom and Libby.
Losing her mom, taking care of Libby.
Yeah.
It's made her guarded and work-focused.
You could see why she'd build those walls up, protect herself.
Absolutely. And then, boom, Libby drops a bomb.
Uh-oh. What happened?
She's been secretly consulting a divorce lawyer.
Whoa. That's a huge secret to keep.
It's a total shock, especially for Nora.
It makes you wonder, right?
Well,
What else are we missing?
totally. It's like a crack in this picture-perfect image they've built. It shows that even in a seemingly idyllic place like Sunshine Falls, everyone's dealing with something.
Exactly. And Nora's reaction is so intense. She feels like she's failed her sister, that she hasn't protected her.
It plays into those deepest fears, of being alone, of losing the people you love.
Absolutely.
It really changes things between them, like Libby keeping this huge secret and Nora realizing she can't control everything.
It's like a wake-up call for both of them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I find really interesting? Like how the book uses Sunshine Falls to kind of explore all these different ideas of what happiness could look like.
Oh, totally. It's not just about Nora and Charlie's romance.
Right. Like with Sally.
Sally, the artist.
Yes. She leaves a successful career in New York to like find peace in Sunshine Falls.
I love that contrast with Nora. Like Nora resisting it at first and Sally embracing it.
And her art changes too.
How so?
Well, in New York, her nudes were also romantic and erotic.
Yeah.
But the ones she paints in Sunshine Falls feel more casual, more real somehow.
It's like she's found her own voice, not trying to please anyone but herself.
It makes you think, though. Can you really have it all?
The career and the peace.
Exactly. Love and ambition.
Yeah, it's a good question.
And the book doesn't give you easy answers, which I appreciate.
It makes you think about what happiness means for you.
Not what society tells you it should be.
Exactly.
And speaking of expectations, I mean, Libby's marriage.
Oh, right. The divorce lawyer.
It's such a huge turning point,
For sure.
like for Nora especially.
So.
Well, finding out that Libby's been seeing a divorce lawyer, like, totally shatters that image of the perfect small-town life.
Oh, it's like those cracks in the facade.
And it brings back all those fears from their childhood.
Right, with their mom.
So she feels this intense sense of betrayal.
Yeah, you can see why she'd be hurt.
Like she hasn't protected Libby.
It's got to bring back those fears of being alone,
Totally. And it makes you realize, like, even siblings, they have their own lives.
They have their own desires.
You can't protect someone from everything.
And sometimes the best way to support them is to just let them figure things out for themselves.
It's a hard lesson for Nora, though.
Oh, for sure. She's always felt responsible for Libby.
But then Libby has this health scare.
Oh, no.
And it's Charlie who really steps up.
Really?
He uses all his local connections to help.
It's like a different side of him, right? Not the cynical editor we met at first.
Totally. And they open up to each other in a way they haven't before.
Like how?
Well, Charlie talks about his dad being sick and how helpless he felt.
Oh, wow.
And Nora talks about taking care of Libby after their mom died.
Those are some heavy topics.
It's like they're sharing these really vulnerable parts of themselves.
And it creates this real sense of intimacy between them.
It's not just
It's
physical,
deeper than that.
which all leads to that supercharged moment in the bookstore.
Oh,
They finally give in to all that tension.
This setting's so perfect, though, right? The bookstore.
Oh, totally. It's like their shared sanctuary.
It adds this whole other layer of meaning to it.
But even after that, there's still obstacles.
What do you mean?
Well, Charlie reveals he can't leave Sunshine Falls.
Why not?
His sister was supposed to take over the bookstore, but she decided to stay in Italy.
Oh, wow. So now what?
It complicates things with Nora, right? Can she see herself living there? Leaving New York?
It's a big decision.
And then just as you think things are settling down,
What happens?
Libby drops another bomb.
No. What now?
She bought a house in Sunshine Falls.
Oh, wow.
Nora feels completely blindsided.
You can imagine how she feels.
Like all her fears come rushing back, of being alone.
And it shows how much Libby's grown, too, right? Making her own choices.
She's not relying on Nora anymore.
Exactly. And it's hard for Nora to let go.
So she runs to the one place she feels safe, Charlie's bookstore.
That makes sense.
Their connection has become her anchor,
And he really comes through for her.
He offers comfort, understanding, no judgment.
It's a beautiful moment.
And then he does something completely unexpected.
What's that?
He proposes an alternate ending.
An alternate ending to their story.
Exactly.
It's like he's giving her permission to imagine something different,
To write their own story.
Exactly. And it's so refreshing because it acknowledges that real relationships are complicated.
There's no one-size-fits-all solution.
And they don't have to sacrifice everything for love.
But it's interesting how Nora's own journey kind of mirrors the transformations we see in those romance novels.
Totally.
She's living out a trope she usually dismisses,
It's like she's finally letting herself believe in a happy ending.
even if it's messy and doesn't fit the mold.
It's all thanks to Charlie, really.
He helps her see things differently.
Shows her that vulnerability can be a strength.
And that scene in his childhood bedroom, so powerful.
Oh, when they finally talk.
Yes. Nora reveals her biggest fear,
Which is...
abandonment, stemming from her mom's death.
Makes sense with everything she's been through.
It explains so much about her,
Yeah.
why she's so guarded.
Yeah, it's hard to let people in when you're afraid of losing them.
And it's incredibly brave of her to share that with Charlie.
And his response is perfect.
He just listens,
Doesn't try to fix her.
validates her feelings.
Lets her know she's not alone.
It's in that moment that their physical intimacy becomes something more.
You can feel the shift. Right.
It's not just passion, it's about comfort and belonging.
And the fact that it happens in his childhood bedroom.
Oh, so significant.
It's like she's finally letting go of the past.
And embracing a future with him.
But she still struggles with leaving New York, right?
It's her home.
Her connection to her mom and Libby.
It's like her heart wants one thing.
But her head says something else.
That pull between the familiar and the unknown.
It's a tough spot to be in.
And then Libby decides to move to Sunshine Falls.
Oh, wow.
Nora's devastated.
Yeah, she feels like she's losing that last piece of family.
All those fears of abandonment come rushing back.
So what does she do?
She runs to Charlie.
Of course.
He's become her safe haven.
And he reassures her.
Yeah.
Tells her she's not alone.
Even offers to stay in Sunshine Falls for her.
Even if it means giving up his own dreams.
It's a big gesture.
It shows how much he cares.
But it's actually his parents who offer the real solution.
What do they say?
They encourage him to pursue his own happiness
To follow his heart.
and remind him that family isn't just about geography.
That's such a beautiful message.
And that's what leads Charlie to suggest that alternate ending.
Splitting their time between Sunshine Falls and New York.
Yes. It's a compromise that works for both of them.
It's a reminder that love doesn't have to be about sacrifice.
Sometimes it's about finding a way to make it work,
To share your life with someone.
flaws and all.
And it's so sweet how they talk about it,
Taste testing dollar slices in the city.
And solving the mystery of the cubed ham salad at Papa Squat.
It's those little moments that really make their connection shine.
It's about shared laughter, respect, a love of books.
And a willingness to embrace life's messiness.
Book Lovers is more than just a romance novel.
It's about finding your place in the world, being vulnerable, and redefining what a happy ending can look like.
It challenges our expectations about love, family, ambition.
And reminds us that everyone can find their own unique path to happiness.
Even cynical city dwellers.
So, dear listener, what are your thoughts? What surprised you? What will you take away from Nora and Charlie's journey?